Hello, 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 and happy Monday. It is February 3rd. Oh my God, I cannot believe it's already the February. Nevertheless, the 3rd of February. Happy Monday to every one of you. If you are tuning in and you're wondering who I am Joanne Angel Barry Clone, the host of Joanne's Healing Within, and I'm super excited to be with you. I am your certified holistic personal trainer, holistic integrated teacher, Reiki master, medical astrologer, master of numerology, card creator, and card reader. I'm super excited to be here with you today. Really excited. It's the first Monday of the month, and it's an unusual Monday because this Monday I actually have a guest with me today. Before I go ahead and dive in and invite her in, we have to go through the rituals today. So right off the bat, to start with, I want to remind you to go ahead and share, like, and comment. I will probably do that later because, as usual, I've been having some technical challenges, so I will definitely share the show shortly. However, I would love for you to share the show. In addition, I would love for you to put comments in, let me know what's going on for you, how you're liking the show, and feel free to chat with us while we're having these conversations. Also want to bring out our partner flyer, introducing all of our partners that make this show go on week after week after week, starting with Miss Kitty, who is our storytelling astrologist. Then we have Joel Monkman, who is our personal development teacher. And last but not least, we have Nancy Nance. She's our author, public speaker, and psychic medium. Now, if you're interested in becoming one of our partners, feel free to go ahead and email healingwithin76@gmail.com. I'm always looking for new partners, sponsors, and of course for you to be on the show as well. I'm getting so thrown off by my background because I'm not used to my background being so bland, but it is what it is for today. It's all good. Anyway, let's dive into a little energy for the day, see what's going on. For those of you who do follow astrology, know that today, Venus, the planet of love, relationships, partnerships, it's associated with our physical body and, of course, money, has recently moved out of Pisces, where it so loves to be, and has entered Aries, where it's not very comfortable. Anytime we have a planet sitting in a zodiac sign when it's not comfortable, that means we may not be very comfortable as Venus sits in Aries. Why is this an uncomfortable position? To start off with, Venus is feminine, it's love, it's passion, it's compassion, where Aries, ruled by Mars, which is the opposition of Venus, is about aggression, it's leadership, it's the boss, it's fire, and sometimes it can be explosive as well. So with Venus sitting in Aries, this is going to do one or two things for you though. On the positive note, it's going to give you energy. It's going to make you motivated. It's going to give you that kick to get things going. On the other side of the coin, it's definitely not going to make you all lovey-dovey. Because again, remember, Venus is about love. Sitting in Aries, not so much. So this is really going to be a period of time where it's really about more work and less play. More work and less play. And let's not forget that as Venus is now in Aries, we will experience a retrograde for the first time. As Venus does not retrograde every year like all the other planets do. It only retrogrades every 2 years, and we're going to experience a retrograde. Those of you who are new to retrogrades is when the planet itself starts to slow down to give us an opportunity to reflect on the energy of the planet and the zodiac sign. So we're going to be reflecting on our relationships, on how we interact with money, and we're going to be feeling our feels with our physical body as well. And with Aries, it really is about the aggressionness, the get up and go. Now, I do want to put this disclaimer out for all of you. During this time that Venus is in Aries, you may very well experience some physical symptoms showing up in your body, especially for those of you who do have your sun, moon, or ascending in Aries, or you have Venus sitting in your first house or sixth house. So pay attention because those symptoms are just your body's way of letting you know that either something needs to be realigned or that you are going through an evolution, which means your body is being realigned as well. Our retrograde starts as of March 1st. We will be in what's called the shadow period over the next 2 weeks. So we're going to start to feel that slowing down process. And we'll leave it there for now. And I also want to bring in some highlights that Jupiter, our planet of expansion, spiritual growth, and also good fortune, has just gone direct in Taurus energy. And note that Venus rules Taurus, so there's a little conjunction going on between the two of them, and there's an expansion happening. So I'm going to leave that there. If you want to know more about how these planets are going to impact you personally, as always, just reach out. All you got to do is email healingwithin76@gmail.com. I'm going to go ahead and pull a card, see what we need to know based on this energy we have going on. And there goes the cards. Now we have two cards that flew out. Obviously, I'm not going to read both, but I am going to read the first one that flew out the deck, which is Queen and King. And that's so appropriate with this energy we do have. Venus being the queen, the feminine energy, it being in Aries, the king energy. So it's that push-pull, so to speak. The energy of the sacral chakra is really about tapping into your confidence during this time, because yes, with Venus in Aries, you may not feel as confident as you were feeling when Venus in Pisces. That number 2 is reminding you about your partnerships that you may very well see blossoming during this season, because again, the flip side is Venus is about love. The positive side is Venus is sitting in Aries, so it's going to be more work and less play. So that's our card for right now. All right, I'm going to take a quick commercial break, and when I get back, I'm going to be coming back and introducing you to our guest for the day. I'll be right back. Did you know we are in the age of Aquarius? It's all about finding your tribe, making connections, collaborations, networking, being inspired, being empowered, and transforming. Hello, I'm Reverend Joanne Angel Barry Cologne, the founder of Holistic Fitness NY and Women Empowering Women. I'm a Reiki Master, Medical Astrologer, Master of Numerology, Holistic Integrated Teacher, and Card Creator. Women Empowering Women meets the second Monday of every month at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. I would love to invite you in as my VIP guest. To redeem your VIP invitation, email healingwithin76@gmail.com or go to holisticfitnessny.com. I do promise that you will be inspired, empowered, and make connections. I look forward to seeing you on the second Monday of the month at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Hello and welcome back. If you're just tuning in, remember to share, like, and comment on today's show. Share it out, share it out, share it out. And like I said, before I bring in my guest for the day, I do want to come back to our card for today. After all, it is about the Queen and King. Venus has entered Aries, where it's not so comfortable, which means during this time you may be a little uncomfortable in regards to the love theme. However, you may be very comfortable in regards to doing more business and less playing during this season. And we will be in a retrograde cycle with Venus being in Aries. So pay attention, because again, that Aries energy does tap into your I am statement. And there is going to be a conjunction between Venus and Chiron, because Chiron is sitting in Aries energy. So your inner child wounds may be showing up, especially for those of you who do carry your Chiron in Aries, like me. So pay attention to that. And again, if you want more information about how all this really plays out for you on a personal level, just send out an email, healingwithin76@gmail.com. So for right now, what I would love to do is I'm going to introduce my amazing guest, Samantha Bailey. She's an author and coach and speaker. And today she's here to share with you her brand new book that she has recently written. And she and I have been chatting it out. And I'm super excited to have her here today. So Samantha, how are you, my love?
I'm doing great. Thanks so much for having me. I really appreciate being here.
Oh, I'm excited to have you here today. I'm so excited for your book. I'm so excited for everything that's going on in your life. Samantha and I have been chatting behind the scenes over the last couple of weeks regarding all the amazing things that's going on, and I have a list of questions for her. But I have a feeling this is going to be just a general conversation, like two girlfriends sitting talking about a book. So to start off with, I like to just like dive right in and ask, what inspired you to write this book? And the book is called Deceptive. You say the title because I'm going to screw it up.
Deceptive liaisons.
There you go. Yes, yes. So, what inspired you to write this book?
Yeah, great question. So, about 5.5 years ago, I was living in paradise in Hawaii and really content, enjoying my life, had a great job, had made new amazing friends there, and thought I had a steadfast, solid marriage. And we were brand new empty nesters. So it was the first time that we could enjoy each other, and just get to enjoy everything that Hawaii had to offer as well. So things were going well, and about 3 years after living there, I found out that my husband was having what I thought was one affair, but it turned out to be over a dozen affairs with sugar babies, escorts, prostitutes, and spending almost our entire retirement savings on them for luxury trips, five-star hotels, designer shopping sprees, sex, time, you name it. And it took a year and a lot of detective work on my behalf to uncover the truth, as far as I know it today. At that point, I just kind of didn't want to know anymore. But a lot of the times, when I was going through initially the trauma of finding out, I there were so many days that were a fog in my head, so I journaled. And the journaling kind of was almost like healing for me. And it also was able to track my progress, which was kind of stagnant. I wasn't really going anywhere, but I was also able to look back and go, wow, that happened to me. And why did I do this and that? And realize that there were so many things that I did wrong. Some I did right, but the things that I did wrong really delayed my healing path. And once I realized that, I was thinking I'm probably not alone, and I want others to know what not to do and what to do, especially when they first discover, and they've hit the shock wave and the betrayal trauma and everything that's going through them. So I decided to write a book about what had happened, and not only what had happened, how I came out of it on the other side, not just no longer a victim, but surviving and thriving and living a happy life and full of joy and just peace.
Yes. Now you mentioned that you did it the wrong way. Could you explain what that actually means by you doing it the wrong way? Curious to know that answer.
Yeah. Well, what I did for almost 3 years straight, I was looking in the past. I was looking at Facebook memories every day. Anything that popped up with a memory with my husband, myself, I would look at everything, and I was just searching, like, where was I? How did I not know what happened? And I did that consistently for 3 years. Another thing that I did was I tracked him. He had an app where I knew exactly where he was. So it was a constant. I'm looking at that in the morning when he goes to work to make sure he's going to work. I'm making sure throughout the day he's there. And that all it did was create more and more stress. And I wasn't helping anything by controlling him. I needed to help me first and worry about him after.
That makes so much sense, and I'm glad I asked the question for one, because I believe that there's a lot of women who have experienced similar stories that end up doing the same thing. We're so we're so focused on what they are doing that we take the focus off of our own healing, and it's really not about what they're doing anymore. Once you discover the story, it's really about how you can work on healing and not being in that quote unquote victim space. So I really, I first of all, I commend you for even deciding to write this and to put this out there, because I know you know that there are many women that's going to benefit from your journey that you went through. I truly believe that when someone does go through a journey like you have a bigger purpose, and there's so much that you learned in that experience of the moment you found out about the deception of your marriage.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
exactly. So next question that I have for you is, what would you say to those who feel that they've never been able to forgive the person who betrayed them?
I would say it's vital to their health. For me, looking back, for some reason, I had an easier time forgiving my husband than I did the affair partners. But when I kind of did a little assessment, I realized that I had so much anger and resentment and just holding all of that, dark cloud over me in. And I realized that I needed to forgive them too. And inside, I'm thinking, how can I forgive the affair partners, especially the ones who knew he was married? And I realized that in order to release myself from them, I had to forgive them. And I actually did it took a couple hours. I did a little balloon ceremony. I had my husband bring home 15 um, red balloons with white string, helium. And I wrote the names of each affair partner on each balloon. I took them outside and I prayed a forgiveness prayer over each of them. There were some tears involved as well, and a lot of emotion. And then I took some scissors. I didn't release the balloons to the sky. I actually released what I thought. I equated the helium to be their soul. So I took some scissors and I stabbed the balloon, releasing the helium up to the heavens, no longer attached to me. And the amazing thing that happened after that, I had severe anxiety, almost like someone was choking me. I had a hard time speaking at times as well. After that little ceremony, my anxiety was completely gone. Like I didn't feel this, choking. I'm like, where is it? What's happened? And I realized that, this unforgiveness and bitterness and anger and resentment was what was giving me the anxiety, and releasing that gave me freedom.
Yes, I'm writing down some of your words because they're just so powerful, and I just love I'm going to use this term, the practice and exercise that you took on to give yourself this permission to forgive the other parties. As you said, forgiving your husband was the easier part. Forgiving the women that were involved with this, especially those that knew you were married, were the harder part of it all. However, it was the most necessary part, as you mentioned, because many people don't realize that when something like this occurs, we do hold on to that energy in our bodies. And over time, if we don't let it go, and not just in a betrayal, just in any type of any emotional connection, in reference to grief, in reference to anger, whatever it is, we hold that in our bodies. So I'm loving the fact that you chose balloons, red balloons on that. What a powerful color. And just allowing the actual helium to be released versus letting the balloons go. Because in my mind, if you were going to end up saying that you let the balloons go, it's like, to me, that's like, it's a very different energy than if you allow the actual helium to come out, because that's almost like releasing the air from them and the
Yeah.
connection from you as well. So that's extremely powerful, and truly love it. And the forgiveness prayer and freeing yourself
Yeah. I
from
was
this.
worried about airplanes too. I didn't want any balloons stuck in any engines. So
Exactly. Now, if you can recall from the time you did that practice, how many days later did you actually really start to feel the relief and the heaviness start to lift off? Can you recall that?
It was immediate. It was immediate.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It wasn't a physical like relief. It was just like I didn't feel the need to be anxious anymore. It took
Mm,
that.
yeah.
I
And
mean,
anxiety, it's more in your throat and as opposed to anywhere in your body or just really in the throat area?
it was kind of in my heart, but it would come through my throat, especially when I would try to speak. It would be just kind of like all consuming. And, I'd be, as a speaker, that's not something you want to have happen to you.
Yes, exactly, exactly. And it happens to many of us in general, just because we speak so much that our throat chakra gets overactive from it. That we really do it. It's like being a singer. We have to literally prep our voice before we begin to speak. Otherwise, we come out sounding hoarse, so to speak. Now, in regards to your balloons, you said you had 15 of them. Was that the amount of women that were involved in this betrayal?
Yes. Yes.
That's
Yeah.
yeah. That's a lot. And in regards to forgiving your husband, what was that like for you?
It was kind of an ongoing process because it took him a whole year to tell me the truth, like full disclosure. I had 8 different D days, and that D day was a day of discovery when you first discover the infidelity. And that happened 8 different times in a year's period. So the forgiveness was kind of like ongoing. And, I kind of went through this whole process of the shock and then just realizing that I needed to forgive again. I wanted to work on my marriage. I absolutely loved my husband, and I wanted to do whatever it took with boundaries in place to make my marriage whole again.
Mm, that's just beautiful. Very beautiful. So we do have to take a commercial break. So if you can let our audience know how they can reach you, and if through email or even through your email address would probably be a good place to start.
Sure. You can reach me at author Sam Bailey, that's Bailey, at gmail.com. And my book will be out on Amazon any day now. I'm just waiting on the publisher to give me the thumbs up. So, and also you can read more about me and my bio on my website. It is help, the number 4, betrayaltrauma.com.
There we go. Beautiful. So we're going to take that quick commercial break, and then we'll be back for more.
Hey, this is Joe Monkman, and I am a personal development trainer. And that means that I help people step into their leadership roles, take their place as a visionary, really understand their own mastery in the world so that they can really find their place at the buffet of life. And if you want to know more, you can find me on my Facebook page at Joe Monkman and joemonkman@gmail.com.
Hi everyone, Kitty Buda Foss, the storytelling astrologer, reader of the stars, and I'd like to invite you to join me on Intuition of the Soul on Facebook, a free private Facebook group where I post a daily energy reading all about how you can navigate your day. Also reach out at intuitionofthesoul11@gmail.com if you want a personalized reading to find out about how your circuitry works. Namaste.
Hi, I'm Nancy Nance. I am an energy healer, psychic medium, transformational breakthrough coach, and international best-selling author. Choose Joy, A Survivor's Guide for Hope, is a map and a strategy to help you live your best life. Available on Amazon today.
Hello and welcome back. If you are just tuning in, take a moment to share, like, and comment. You are watching Joanne's Healing Within. I'm your host, Joanne Angel Barry Cologne, and I'm going to bring my guest right back on, Samantha Bailey, as we talk about her amazing book that is available on Amazon. And I don't know if we can get a little shot of that book. Bobby, can you bring the image of that book up, or should we wait till later? I don't know if you could do that now. It would be great. If not, we can always wait till later, whichever way this flows. So meanwhile, what we're going to do is we're going to ask the next question. So the next question is a real one. There's that beautiful book. Now, is that a gorgeous book? We're going to have to talk about that cover, and we'll do that shortly. I love that book. Amazing. Amazing, amazing. Thank you, Bobby. All right, so my next big question, and then we're going to go and talk about that cover, is how can someone spot red flags early to avoid potential betrayal in the future?
Yeah. First of all, one of the things that, well, several, it took me a while to realize that there were red flags because initially I thought there were none. But when you trust someone 100% completely, you take them at their word. So you're not really looking for red flags. But looking back, there were many. And some of them were he starts untagging you on Facebook. Why? Who does he not want to see that you're with when previously you would write nice comments and, or a thumbs up or a heart? All of a sudden he's removing himself from the tag. He takes his phone with him everywhere, even in the middle of the night to go to the restroom. The phone is with him. It's always right by his side. When he is on the phone, he usually has the screen away from you, so you cannot see who he's talking about. And usually he'll say, "Oh, this is work." Where before, when it was, dinner time or we were out with friends, the phone would be put up. The phone was not an interruption, but it began to become an interruption. And it was always the excuse work. But, looking back, there were some smirks and smiles in the, response when he was texting back. So that's another thing to keep an eye on. Business trips. I never checked or verified his boarding passes. A lot of times he went on trips and basically stayed on island and booked a beachfront resort in Hawaii right under my nose, and I wasn't aware of it because I thought he was on a business trip. Make sure that you are able to call through to wherever hotel he's staying. Nowadays, you can't just call and they'll forward it directly. You have to be on their approved list. So make sure you're on that. And also, it's okay to ask to look at their phone. Not necessarily because you want to snoop, just that you just want to confirm that everything's okay. And it's okay to do that every once in a while. I wish I had, but again, when you trust someone completely, and if they're not doing anything wrong, then great. That's amazing. But if they are, sooner rather than later, finding out is much better. And I just think there was just a lot of times that he would go hiking and I never thought twice, well, it's pouring rain out, but he would say it wasn't raining when he was hiking. And I never checked the weather, just little things that I could have done to confirm because he would never have hiked in the rain. And also just confirming maybe with some business associates whether or not he was with them like he said he was. Yeah, just so there were a lot of red flags, and also very easily agitated and defensive. If a question was asked that he felt was not a question that should be asked, he'd turn it around. Like, for instance, when I asked him, are you having an affair on me? He was almost like angry no, why would you even ask me that? I love you so much. Where would you get this idea when I knew in fact he already was? But, just things like that, gaslighting, making you feel like you're the one that's crazy and you should be asking those questions, things like that.
Yes, yes. Yeah, I have a philosophy, and my philosophy is the minute I have to start questioning or checking or use the word spying or looking at the phone or whatever not, right off the back, I no longer trust the situation. And if I no longer trust the situation, that means there's been something broken already. So that's like a red flag in general and a moment of time where you can just ask the question. 90% of the time, you already know the answer. You're probably not going to get the direct answer from the partner, only because, again, like you said, they're not going to be ready to confess. Is the word I just
Yeah,
used.
they're so used to lying.
Exactly, exactly. And until sometimes it's they want to be caught. It's easier for them to be caught than to actually come straight out and say, "This is what I'm doing," and for whatever the reasons are. And 90% of the time, it really has absolutely nothing to do with you or any woman. It's more about their habits and what's going on in their world. And women need to also understand too that it's really not about them at all. It's about the man's situation and what's going on in his life at that time. So I love your red flags. So before I go into my next question, that's here for me to ask, I do want to talk about your book cover because oh my God, it's gorgeous. How did you come up with that cover? Where did it come from? Is it a photo? Is it a vision? What's that cover about?
It was a vision. I wanted it because, everything took place in Hawaii. I wanted a beach scene. And with the sun coming up, it's kind of like the front is a little bit dark. But if you look in the background, the sun is rising, and that's it's kind of like the beginning of the book is dark, but in the end, the sun rises, and it's a beautiful day.
Yes, yes, and it sounds like exactly how your journey went, where it got really dark, and then somewhere along the line you're finding your light, and like it should. Your journey that you are on, all the things that you've learned through this process about yourself and how you're sharing this with other women. And this is the very thing that led to your book. Otherwise, and we'll talk later about your second book that's coming out because we know there's a second one coming out. But for right now, without that journey, you wouldn't have this juicy book to talk about. So in some way or another, we have to say, well, there's something that came out of that journey, correct?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. It's funny because I had a therapist once tell me that one day you'll be grateful for your journey, what you went through. And I'm like, she's crazy. And now I can say, you know what? I don't know if grateful is the word, but I'm very happy that I went through this because had I not, I wouldn't be in a position where I am today, which is happy with a purpose. I know what my purpose
Yes.
is. And when you have that, your life is complete, not
Yes.
not done, but it's full.
Yes, yes, it's full because you have a purpose. There's a reason. I always say that again, whatever the journey is that we go on and the different people we have agreements to have this journey with, some of those agreements are challenging and obstacles show up for us to learn about patience and resilience and compassion for ourselves and then to pour that out to others as well. So my next question, which is directly aligned with what we're talking about, which is what was the moment you realized you wanted to take control of your healing instead of staying in the pain?
Yeah, great question again. I had been in a bad place, like a pit, for almost 3 years. And I came across a website that there was a test for betrayal trauma, and it showed what stage you were in. It rated 1 to 5, and so I took the quiz. 1 was you've just discovered and you're not in a good place. 5 is you're on the road to healing and you're in a really good place. Well, my score was a 3, which basically said that how I like to describe it is like I could get from point A to point B, but I was carrying this huge, heavy ball and chain around me. And in order to walk, I had to pick it up and go everywhere. And it was just exhausting. And I was living, but I was exhausted. And I realized that I was so tired that it was affecting me physically and mentally. And then I decided to take all the courses that they recommended. What I loved about the quiz is they wouldn't put me in courses if I came at a number one. They tailor the courses based on what you come in at. And so once I completed the courses and began my healing journey, I decided to continue training and become a certified PBT coach as well, post-betrayal transformation.
Nice. So you learned a lot in this process of going through your healing journey and just moving along and recognizing that again, which is something many people do, is that we don't realize how we are carrying, as I like to refer to it, as like releasing the emotional weight that we hold on to and that we carry it for so long. And when we finally make that decision to put it down, it really is life-saving, because what you're putting down saves your life, as opposed to holding on to it for a much longer period of time, which could over time create health issues, which many of us don't want. So
Yeah,
quite
and I love that you said when you make the decision, because it really is a choice that you have to make. Do I want to stay in this victim mentality, or do I want to crawl out of it? And I was ready to, dig my way out and up and out for good.
Yes. And it doesn't really matter how long it takes you to get there. The idea of the game is to make that decision when you're ready to make that decision. So there's never
Absolutely.
a time. Yeah, there's really never a time.
And there are stages of grief that you need to go through and experience in order to heal. You have to feel. You can't jump those stages. And everyone's stage and timeline for grief is different. So you can't put an exact date on, gosh, I should be okay by this time. It's different for everyone.
Exactly, because you definitely may have a moment in time where you think that you got past something, and something comes up and it's like, oh, I'm not actually 100% past that. It's very similar to when we lose a person regarding death, going through the stages of grief, and just when you think, oh, I thought I was past it already, I thought I was feeling great again, and this sort of hiccup shows up. So I love that. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take another, I was going to say coffee break. I must want coffee. It's too late for coffee. Anyway, again, let our audience know how they can reach you with your email and website.
Okay, my email is authorsambailey@gmail.com. You can also request coaching sessions with me through that email, or you can read a little bit more about my book and my bio on help4betrayaltrauma.com.
Excellent. We're going to take a look at that book one more time, Bobby, if you can. Just bring that on up. Not just one more time. We'll probably look at a handful before we actually. There we go. Beautiful book. And it will be available on Amazon. So for those of you who are interested in reading, feel free to support Samantha by going and purchasing it. We're going to take that quick commercial break, and then we'll be back for some more with Samantha.
Hi everyone, Kitty Beatawig Foss, the storytelling astrologer, reader of the stars, and I'd like to invite you to join me on Intuition of the Soul on Facebook, a free private Facebook group where I post a daily energy reading all about how you can navigate your day. Also reach out at intuitionofthesoul11@gmail.com if you want a personalized reading to find out about how your circuitry works. Namaste.
Hi, I'm Nancy Nance. I am an energy healer, psychic medium, transformational breakthrough coach, and international best-selling author. Choose Joy, a survivor's guide for hope. is a map and a strategy to help you live your best life. Available on Amazon today.
Hey, this is Joe Monkman, and I am a personal development trainer. And that means that I help people step into their leadership roles, take their place as a visionary, really understand their own mastery in the world so that they can really find their place at the buffet of life. And if you want to know more, you can find me on my Facebook page at Joe Monkman and joemonkman@gmail.com.
Hello and welcome back. If you are just tuning in, I'm your host, Joanne Angel Barry Colon. You're currently watching Joanne's Healing Within. Remember to share, like, and comment on today's show. And if you are just tuning in, know that you can always come back later and watch on Roku, Amazon Fire TV, Twitch TV. You can also listen on Audible, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and many other platforms. Let's bring our guest Samantha back up so we can continue our conversation, because it is a amazing, fun conversation, learning all about her story of betrayal and her amazing book. My next question for you is, I love when the phones just go off. If you can go back and give yourself one piece of advice in the early days of your healing, what would it be?
Oh, wow. That's a great question. I think one of the things that I would do is it's hard to, you're in such a fog. But I think reaching out to someone right away that you can talk to, like a therapist or a counselor. For me, I spoke to a pastor right away. Well, not right away. It was a couple of days in because I really didn't know where to turn. And he was able to refer me to a therapist and counselor from there. And I'd recommend that the therapist and or counselor be experienced in betrayal, specifically betrayal trauma, because initially the first ones that I went to when I shared my story, they were like in shock. And I didn't want a therapist that was in shock. I wanted help. And, what do I do? So once I found a good fit, it was, it put me in a better place for healing when I had someone who had that understanding and that experience.
Yes. Now, through your healing journey, besides the actually going to a therapist, did you actually take on any type of healing modalities to help, like, the emotional impact that it might have had on your physical body? Let's say Reiki energy work or sound healing or aromatherapy, any of that?
I did the is it EMDR, and then the tapping. I don't know
Yes.
if yeah. The tapping was really good because it took my focus off, the negative, the bad things that I was feeling, and it kind of helped me refocus and realize that because at the end you say, yeah, this is what I'm feeling, but I'm going to be okay, and you're just like programming yourself to feel that you're going to be okay. So that was one of the big things that I really liked. Yeah.
So what Samantha's speaking on when it comes to the tapping is the emotional freedom technique, where you're tapping on specific areas of the body as you are also either creating mantras or speaking out to retrain the brain, so to speak, and to also take your mind off of what is going on. And you do this continuously until you can literally feel the shift in your body in the processing of tapping. So if you've never experienced emotional freedom technique and you're interested in experiencing emotional freedom technique, to the audience, feel free to reach out to me, and I can definitely refer to an amazing therapist that does it. So going back to Samantha and her journey, I have one more question before we dive into where did my questions go? Oh no, questions, where did they go? I love when they disappear. All right, I think we might have answered that one. Okay, there we go. I would like for you to, what is one small actionable step someone can take to start feeling stronger today?
one small actionable step. I don't know necessarily about feeling stronger, but it will put them on the path to healing. And it's kind of one of the things that I say not to do. And I mentioned the first thing that you should do is find a therapist. But one of the things you shouldn't do is you need to try to avoid alcohol and cannabis, because alcohol is a depressant. You've got a gaping wound. You don't need to add salt to it.
Mm.
Cannabis also is the same. It may or may not offer temporary relief. The key word is temporary, and it's only going to delay your healing process. So I highly recommend you stay away from that. You'll feel so much better, and you'll be able to, like I said, you have to feel in order to heal. So you have to go through those stages and not put them, you know, if you're taking alcohol or cannabis, you're going to be stuck.
Yes, and I think the word Samantha was looking for. You don't want to feel, you don't want to numb the experience of your healing. So you do need to feel whatever it is you're going to feel on your journey and allow it to be. And I think Samantha has the most important tip is really support, getting a therapist, and also um, yeah, I'm hearing spirit just really say get a therapist, because you don't really want to lean into your girlfriends about this. You really want to keep this where the therapist can give you some fine insight, as opposed to getting what I like to call other people's perspectives based on your situation, because everyone's going to have their own point of view to what you should and should not be doing. So, Samantha, again, I want to thank you for sharing your journey, your story, and more importantly, your book. And I know you have a second book coming out. Do you have a title for that second book yet?
I do. It's a mouthful. It's called I'm Sorry I Interrupted, Chronicles of a Wandering Mind, hashtag Oops, I Did It Again. And
Oh my
it's
goodness.
about growing up in the 60s and 70s with ADHD. And it's actually a hilarious look of some of the shenanigans that I went through. Because back then ADHD wasn't even a word or a term. So
Yes,
we were just the problem children, or the talking too much or not talking enough or interrupting
yes,
constantly. And just a lot of funny stories that I share about having ADHD, and then realizing as I was growing up that it wasn't a hindrance, it was my superpower. And
yes.
I share
And we're
about
gonna have
that.
to exactly. We're gonna have to come get you back on for that book when that one comes out, because that's going to be a definitely a conversational piece in itself. So one last time, let our audience know your email and website so they can reach you.
Sure. My email is authorsambailey@gmail.com. And you can also go to my website at help4betrayaltrauma.com.
Excellent. We're going to take that quick commercial break, and when I come back, I'm going to share with you some of the interesting work some of our partners are offering for each and every one of you. So hang in there. We'll be right back. Did you know we are in the age of Aquarius? It's all about finding your tribe, making connections, collaborations, networking, being inspired, being empowered, and transforming. Hello, I'm Reverend Joanne Angel Barry Cologne, the founder of Holistic Fitness NY and Women Empowering Women. I'm a Reiki master, medical astrologer, master of numerology, holistic integrated teacher, and card creator. Women Empowering Women meets the second Monday of every month at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. I would love to invite you in as my VIP guest. To redeem your VIP invitation, email healingwithin76@gmail.com or go to holisticfitnessny.com. I do promise that you will be inspired, empowered, and make connections. I look forward to seeing you on the second Monday of the month at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Hello and welcome back. I'm your host, Joanne Angel Barry Cologne. You are watching Joanne's Healing Within. If you are just tuning in, oh my, you missed an amazing, amazing show with my amazing guest, Samantha Bailey, with her amazing book. You're definitely going to have to come back and watch from the beginning. You can do so by watching from Roku, Amazon Fire TV, Twitch TV. You can also listen on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Audible, and many other podcast platforms. With that being said, I want to share out some promos we have going on. As usual, there's always something for you with you in mind. So to start off with, we're going to bring up the promo for Kendrick and I. Him and I are getting together on Sunday. We are getting together on February 9th at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. We're talking about how your sign relates to your personal style. You don't want to miss that, I guarantee you. The next one we have going on is Women Empowering Women. I was just speaking about that in my commercial, where you definitely want to come join. It meets once a month, the second Monday of the month, and we have an amazing guest that's going to be joining us on February 10th. For more information, just email healingwithin76@gmail.com to sign up. Then we have the book, which we just spoke about, Samantha Bailey's amazing book. There you have it. It will be available on Amazon. Just reach out to Samantha so you can go ahead and order her book. Last but not least, we have Spirit Messages and Energy Insight coming up again. This is an amazing group. It meets every Tuesday for 6 weeks. Then they take a short little break. The dates are there. Reach out to Joe Mockman to get yourself enrolled for the session. All that being said, wow, how the time flies. Time flies when you're having fun, right? We'll be back again in March, the first Monday of the month. Until then, enjoy this energy. And I'm going to ask you to buckle up, Buttercup, because this upcoming week is going to be a doozy because we have several of our planets going retrograde. Venus, Mercury, and Mars will be coming out of retrograde, so that's quite interesting. Join me on my personal page to find out more about how all that's going to impact you. Until we meet again on the other side, bye-bye for now.